up, everybody? This is Two Jersey Kids. We're back. Episode 36 is here. Remember, this is a video game podcast if you're a new listener right now, and I'm going to say it right now just so you don't lose us because we talk about random things in the beginning, but this is a video game podcast we release every Tuesday and Friday. This is the Friday episode where we break down all the news that's been going on, and my name is Adam Buckingham, and I am the host of this car crash this evening, and with me is my best friend, the best stick handler in the business. I'm struggling with this intro this time. Gary Seisel, how you doing today, Gary?
What's happening, everybody? I'm doing excellent.
I finally got through it. It feels like it's been a while because lately I've been doing like breaks when it comes to introducing the episode. Where it used to be going, we would record the Tuesday episode, then the Friday episode. It would always be me and you, where it was a consistent flow. But now, since I've been interviewing people, I'm like fucking going crazy with. I don't know how to introduce the podcast anymore. I'm losing it.
Not to mention, I haven't been here like the last. It seems like the last couple episodes, really, although it's really been one. It just feels longer, I guess, than it actually has been.
Than usual. I need to get back into the groove of things. But yeah. If you are a new listener, please stay till the end. If you're a continued listener, we appreciate you so much. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at @2JerseyKids. Now, Gary, before we go into everything, all the news has been going on, because there's a decent amount that we have on the Google Doc. But, so what have you been up to? Is it more Destiny, more Battlefield 1? Have you been branching out? Or are you still into the bro shooter, bang, 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 bang?
Well, I mean, honestly, video game stuff, I don't really have that many interesting things to tell, but I want to kind of go into my personal life a little bit more. Recently, this past week, we've had so where I work is a practice facility for an NHL team, and this past week, we've had a international tournament, so we have teams coming all over the world from Russia, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Italy, you name it, they're coming, they're coming. So, it's been interesting because I've got to meet people from different countries, obviously. I've done this for the past, I think, 2 years that we've had it, but it seems to get bigger every year. So I've got to meet people from Italy, kids from Italy, and it's just interesting to see the differences, but also a lot of the similarities that you kind of just, don't think of. Mm-hmm. What was it, the first, I think I helped open the store on... Was it Tuesday? I think we opened at 8. A guy from Russia, I think it was a Russian team. A guy from Russia comes in, and he really couldn't speak English that well, and he was asking me if we had anything for rent, and I was like, well, no, we don't, because it just doesn't happen. Like, I think that's a European thing. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he comes in, and he asked me like a few questions, so I was like, obviously I couldn't understand what he was saying, so he pulls out his phone, and we proceeded to talk on Google Translate. It was fascinating.
Did you make sure to tell him to play RuneScape because he's got a good chance of learning English while playing, according to you?
I think it's a little bit past his time.
No?
Let's put it that way.
How old was he?
Probably like in his 50s, I would say.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, he was like, he knew some words, but he was clearly kind of like uncomfortable, like probably uneasy, like just talking to someone, like an English speaker. So thank God for Google Translate. Things save our lives.
Give me my skates.
Well, what's even funnier is the fact that one of my coworkers that I work with, he was basically talking to people, like a lot of kids, with his phone, like Google Translate, and they were just having like these like random conversations. He was just asking them random questions, like, "Where are you from Italy? Where is this?" It was pretty hilarious.
That's cool. But, it's always like eye-opening meeting different people from different cultures, going to different places and see how they interact. I remember going to like the United Arab Emirates and like seeing how they interact culturally wise, like how their business is. It's a lot slower. It's less of a rat race than it is here.
Yep.
Where when you're at meetings, it's all right to be somewhat late. You don't go right into the meeting right at that time. You should be also expected to eat dinner. Take like 3 hours to eat dinner because it's like a slow, drawn-out process. So yeah, it's just always eye-opening seeing like different cultures and how people interact in that environment.
That's the thing too. Like being a marketing major, I remember we learned in I think it was international marketing. I think that was a class. I can never seem to remember the name, but we learned about
that class. Really stuck with you then, Gary, didn't it?
Well, actually, it did, because this is what I'm going to be actually talking about. So basically, we learned about like the different ways that business is conducted in other countries, just like you were saying about how you're expected to eat dinner, you're expected to do this, you don't have to show up on time necessarily. But it's interesting because I always now knowing taking that class, for example, this week, I'm really careful with my hand gestures because certain hand gestures mean certain things in different countries. So giving the thumbs up to people from Russia means go fuck yourself.
Oh, I remember there was one thing, I think it was in UAE, is if you accidentally show the bottom of your shoe to somebody, that's very insulting. If you're sitting with your feet up, then that's very problematic.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I'm always cautious now, especially this week with how I conduct myself. It's a learning experience. I do appreciate it. Something I feel like I can mention in interviews sometime.
I'm sure you're not afraid to conduct your normal self with me. Let's be honest.
No, of course not. But anyway, that's enough of my life. How's everything going on your end?
Well, on my end, pretty good. I have two important things I want to shout out. There are two kind of important things. Well, not kind of. Let me start over. I have two really important things that I want to shout out. It's not related to the podcast. First one being, it's my mom's birthday, so happy birthday, Mom, if you're listening to it. Sorry, sorry if I curse. I apologize. She has the fortunate birthday of May the 4th, so Star Wars Day is her birthday every year. But just want to say, love you, Ma. You're the best. And then also, my girlfriend, Marta, decided to start her own blog. So I'm going to plug it because I'm a nice boyfriend, and I think you guys will enjoy it because she's awesome. But yeah, she's going to be writing about traveling, cooking, all the books she's reading, all the hobbies that she's doing at this moment. She's very good. I think she's a very good writer, in my personal opinion. It may be a little biased, but I think she is, and she's pretty witty. So I think if you're interested in that, go check it out. It's called Marta's Muses. Just search it. It'll probably be the first one. So good job, Marta, picking a good name that pops up as soon as you search it. So yeah, it's a blog site. I think she wants to release episodes every week, but I'm not sure what day is. So yeah, check it out. But on the video game end, what have I been playing? Playing more NBA 2K6. 16, not 2K6. That's way back when.
Damn, dude. Throwback.
No, NBA 2K16. I won the next game. Because if you didn't know, I started sort of writing back on twojerseykids.com for the episode 35 and a half that I just did. I sort of did a little more blog post that I kind of did going into my thoughts somewhat about the episode, but then also branching off into other things. I put a random thought on the bottom that I must be the most unlucky person when it comes to sporting games. It just seems like it. Because, first off, I say, in NHL 17, I mentioned it on the podcast, when I had my own be a pro person, first time I was playing it, my player got knocked out for a whole season.
Was it concussions?
Yeah, it was a concussion. Comes back the next season, gets knocked out for 20 days. Comes back and re-aggravates an injury and is out for the next season. All right, so that's one. Then, in this, when I finally make it to the playoffs as the amazing GM that I am, my star player is injured. He gets injured in the last few games, I believe, and is out for the first playoff round. And then now I was playing Game 4. I won, of course, still. But my second top player, who Brandon Ingram, who just jacks up threes and always makes it, takes the first three fucking pointer and somehow injures his thumb and is out for multiple weeks. What is this? It makes no sense. Why am I this unlucky in sporting games? Ah! Sorry. I apologize.
I was just going to say, at least it's realistic with Embiid, at least in that case, he's injury prone. Did he hurt his ankle?
I think so. No, it was a back injury. So
it's also thing. Realistic.
Yeah. So he's made with duct tape and some plywood. That's basically Embiid in a nutshell, if you're a Sixers fan. Which I'm not sure any of you guys are. But Video game wise, let's get back into video games because this is a video game podcast. I know we're 9 minutes and 45 seconds in, and we probably haven't talked about much video games, so I'm sorry about that, but you gotta deal with it because this is us. So if you like us, then yeah, you come to expect us, and if you don't like us, well, we don't like you. But yeah, the video games I've been playing, besides NBA 2K16, I started playing Not a Hero, which is like an indie title, which is kind of cool. I think it got like roughly 7 scores from what I was seeing online. It's like a fast-paced kind of shooter where you can slide and duck behind cover, and you're just taking out enemies. So you're going from level to level. You're employed by this random like purple dude. I don't know what type of person he is, but he's trying to gain popularity by taking out like thugs and approval rating to try to get elected at the end, like the last level. So you have like different like sort of like semi missions, I guess you could say, in the middle of a level where you're trying to accomplish these achievements, I guess you could say. So like, for example, it's like perform 5 critical hits during the mission, or finish the level in 40 seconds, or take out everybody in the mission, or save the 2 kittens. Random shit like that. It's got a cool art style, I think. Very pixel art esque. It kind of reminds me of Hyper Light Drifter with their stylization. It's harder to see details because it's more blocky. But I really do enjoy it. I got up to the first, like, I think 7th level. It's kind of one of those games where it seems like it'd be good on the Vita, where you take it on the go and play these fast-paced missions, where I don't know if I really want to sit down with my PS4 and play these quick paced missions, you know?
Yeah.
Good commentary there, Gary.
Well, I'm not really familiar with the game. What do you want me to do here? It's your life. You're talking about your life.
Are you listening to what I'm saying? You could at least relate to what I'm saying, motherfucker.
I can completely understand.
All right, whatever. We're just going to move on now. We're going to move on to the normal segment because Gary has been remembering. It's brought to you by Moby Games. Oh, and it's also brought to you by, as Gary rolls his eyes, Gatorade. But not really. It's This Week in Gaming History. Woo! What do we got,
Alrighty then, here we go. So, as we all know, first of all, May the 4th be with you. We're recording this on May 4th, so I'm saying it. Anyway. So the first game I have that was released this week was Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, which was released back in 2005 on Xbox, PS2, and Game Boy Advance. Now, I personally like this game. I know Adam liked this game.
Me too.
Apparently, that was trash. Who would have thought? I was looking online, just kind of typing the name in, and yeah, the reviews that I got on IGN were pretty piss poor. 4.5 out of 10. That's very below average.
I love this game because I like the dueling aspect of this game. I remember, I don't know if it was with you, but I remember dueling people in Revenge of the Sith. And I felt like I had a good dueling system, but maybe I'm just a fucking idiot. I don't know.
I mean, I remember back, I mean, it's been so long since I played this game, but I think you could choose like just different characters like Darth Vader. Yeah. And like all types of different characters and just fight each other. But I remember the campaign being pretty solid too. I mean, obviously it was styled basically after the movie. You would go about and fight in like the famous battles in that movie or whatever. But I always enjoyed it though. I always thought it was pretty cool.
Me too.
But then again, we were younger. Maybe we were blind to some of the problems that the game had. Maybe the game had terrible gameplay mechanics. Who knows? I don't know. But I thought it was pretty good. Strangely enough, the Game Boy Advance version, which you would think would be terrible, got a 7 out of 10. So it's a crazy world we live in. Who would have thought?
It was probably a completely different game, to be honest. It probably could have been
that's probably true.
Side scroller.
Yeah, I don't know. But 'tis a shame. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good game. Anyway, next 2 games I have here, you'll all be familiar with. We have Elder Scrolls Morrowind, was released for Windows back in 2002. So this is obviously the popular Elder Scrolls game. Some consider it to be the best of all time. I personally never played it. It's kind of a I don't know, regret that I have, but I was too young at the time to really understand everything that went into it. I know Adam, got lost in some city, never played it again.
Yep.
So he has the most experience between the both of us. Apparently, it didn't go too well.
It's so true, though. I forget what age I was. I think it was definitely after I played Oblivion, so I wasn't used to not having fast travel, so I could get out of places. So, but I was still very young. I think I want to say 13 or 14 when I played this after Oblivion, and boy, oh boy, did I get lost. I ended up with like the big city down south. I forget what it's called. I could probably pull up a map. And for some reason, I kept getting lost in the corridors, and I have no idea where to go. And I was like, you know what? I'm a kid. I give up. And I was I'm going to play Oblivion instead.
The thing I remember, or at least that I've heard people talking about, is the fact that this game was like way more of like a hardcore RPG. Like, I don't think there wasn't any fast travel. I also don't know if it was like really as, like, you know how in Oblivion and Skyrim it basically tells you where to go. I'm not sure if it was kind of like that in Morrowind. Then again, I never played, but obviously you did briefly.
Can't quite remember. I just know that there was the dialogue was a lot larger, I guess you could say, when you're going on missions. It felt like, I know there was like there was a post like on Reddit a while back where they kind of explained shortly what like the difference is between Morrowind, Oblivion, and like Skyrim, where they talk about mission structure, where Morrowind's like paragraphs on paragraphs of what you need to do. Oblivion's like a smaller paragraph but still detailed, and like Skyrim's like go kill a cave troll or something like that.
So true. It's so sad, actually. I hope that this is getting a little sidetracked, but I really hope that
it's the name of Two Jersey Kids. Let's be honest, we always get sidetracked.
That's very true. But I just kind of hope that like the Elder Scrolls series kind of. I mean, not that Skyrim was a bad game. I really enjoyed playing that game, and I still like replaying it. But I kind of hope that they, I don't know, they kind of get back to like that old style in a way. I don't know. Maybe it's past its time. Maybe people don't like that as much, but I kind of do.
I just think they need to get past the too much of hand holding and try to actually create missions that seem genuine. Because that's what I know. People love Skyrim, but that's what I felt was missing in Skyrim. I know we may be taking like a hot take, I guess you could say, we're the minority when it comes to this, but I didn't feel like Skyrim was on par of Oblivion, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't feel like it was on par with Morrowind like that. But it just didn't feel quite right. It felt like they were taking easy ways out, like storytelling wise. It seemed like it was paint by numbers, where they were just trying to get the point A from point B, not like expanding on certain characters or certain like villain motivations. They're not expanding on anything. Because I remember in like Oblivion, it was like a huge thing, like the Thieves Guild progressing through that, or the Mages Guild when they took out the Mages Guild in Bruma. Or there was a lot of things that I felt were missing story wise in Skyrim that I really wish was there.
Not to keep on dragging this out, but I completely agree with you, and I think that the weakest part of Skyrim for me was actually they're not really clans, but like the guild quests. Like, I mean, the Dark Brotherhood really, like the Dark Brotherhood really isn't a guild, but like regardless, I thought that storyline was pretty weak.
In Oblivion, that storyline was amazing.
Exactly, and I thought that in Skyrim it was honestly pretty awful in every way. And I thought that, I mean, even like the companions was weird. Like you walk in the door one day, and then all of a sudden, like a day later, you're like, oh, you're gonna become a werewolf now. You're trusted enough. Like what? Like what? How does that make sense? I don't know. It just everything was just. I don't know. And
there was a lot of. It was always like in the companions or some other guild or whatever they are called. It seemed like there was a lot of. They had a lot of fetch quests. Like you would go to get to the next part of like the main quest, or side quest in that storyline. You had to do a bunch of these stupid fucking fetch quests. Where at least in Oblivion, it was you go this quest, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and it progressed and progressed and progressed and progressed until it finally.
And it felt epic. It felt like you were doing something important, and again lacked that. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
but basically, to move on to the last game, this one is a little less deep, I guess you could say. So the last game I have is NHL 98, released on PlayStation back in 1997. I am a huge hockey fan, that's why I basically included this. I actually played. I never got NHL 98, but my first introduction to the EA Sports version of hockey games was actually NHL 2001. If anyone goes back and plays that today, they'd see how awful that game actually was. But
NHL 2001?
Hockey, so Well, yeah, if you looked at the PlayStation version, the graphics are just piss poor. It's so bad.
You go back and look at any of those games, and their graphics are just awful.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I feel like these are exceptionally terrible. Like, I had NHL, so to put things into perspective, I had NHL Face-Off 2000, which was my first ever hockey game I ever owned. And I thought that game looked better than NHL 2001. So it's kind of crazy. But anyway, that's it for This Week in Gaming. I hope you all enjoyed. So now we're going to get into the news. Adam, take it away.
All right. I don't know what it is, Gary, but for some reason I'm like slowing down. I think it's because I got off of a softball game and I was playing in the rain. I need to take a shower, but I haven't taken one yet, so I have a bunch of things to do before I do that. So I'm feeling a little disgusting right now, but I'm going to get into it. I'm going to figure this out. I am going to be energetic, damn it. Starting off, Bethesda lawyers force name change on an indie game, Pray for the Gods. According to Matt Walls over at Eurogamer, Bethesda has let its lawyers off the leash once again, and this time they forced a name change on upcoming indie title, quote, Pray for the Gods, end quote. Pray for the Gods, a frosty, boss-focused PC action adventure developed by No Manor Studios, is now known as, quote, Pray for the Gods, end quote, but Pray being P-R-A-E-Y. After Bethesda/parent company ZeniMax took umbrage with the original title's use of the word pray. Quote, trademark law is what we were dealing with. Unfortunately, ZeniMax chose to oppose our mark. Chose to oppose our mark as they felt both were too similar to their mark Prey. While we disagree with their opposition, we were able to come to agreement, according to a post by No Manor Studios. As a result of Bethesda's legal shenanigans, No Manor has elected to rename its game Pray for the Gods, spelled the same way that I said earlier, which it claims was one of the studio's originally proposed titles. It said that it felt a name change was the better option compared to wasting the project's Kickstarter funds on a costly court case. Quote, we could have fought this and we did think about it for quite a while. Something like a trademark opposition can be long, and depending on how far someone wants to fight it, can be very expensive. This is really something no starting company should have to deal with, let alone a tiny team of 3. So the fact that we came out of the other end intact, still developing the game, was a win. One that will no doubt shape our company moving forward, end quote. In a statement to IGN, a Bethesda representative claimed, quote, we really didn't have much of a choice. If we don't oppose the mark, we risk losing our trademark, and that isn't acceptable. Unfortunately, that's how trademark law works, end quote. Unfortunately, this is the first time they did it before to a previous smaller studio. So, Gary, before I say my thoughts, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily a lawyer, so I can't speak to the specifics of copyright law and all that stuff. But I kind of think it's kind of ridiculous because the name "Pray for the Gods," it's obviously a group of words. It's not like they just basically took Prey and just named their game Prey too. It's not like they just stole it, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't really know why this had to be a thing. I don't know why they really had to sue them for it. But then again, I know in other businesses and other industries, like McDonald's is really like adamant about defending their name, and they're basically willing to just attack anybody that uses the word Mick in their name. So, I mean, you just never know anymore. Nothing's off limits. Everybody likes to sue people.
Same thing with like Nike. If you use their swoosh in anything, like something relatively close to that, they'll fucking sue you up the yin yang. But I thought it was somewhat interesting take on this. Not to pat my back or anything, but I kind of feel like this gained additional exposure for this game because I've never heard of this game. I've never seen it on Kickstarter. There was not too much buzz when it came to this, and now seeing them talking about them having to change their name and it being on like Eurogamer and IGN and Polygon and all those insider video game websites. I feel like this is now getting exposure for this game, and I'm seeing the official trailer back when it was Pray for the Gods, the second trailer, and honestly, it looks pretty cool. It looks like a really solid game. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Shadow Colossus, where you're fighting like large bosses in like a snowy area. It gives me Shadow Colossus vibes, which is not a bad thing.
And ironically, it also gives me Skyrim vibes because it's like that. It's got that snowy atmosphere and also those gigantic dragons. It kind of reminds me of that a lot, actually. But the game does look amazing, though. And you're right. I never heard of it either. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is kind of good publicity in a way.
Yeah, it's not really, honestly, it's not really bad publicity for them. I kind of think it's somewhat bad publicity for Bethesda, because it just shows, like, the big guy trying to take down the small guy for just using a name in a series of words. But now it's definitely gaining exposure for that studio, No Matter Studios game. So, yeah, I don't know when it's coming out. There's not much information. I should look that up. But, yeah, I feel like it's definitely a beneficial thing, like looking on the bright side for their studio. So moving on. It has been released what the times for E3. I can't believe E3 is coming around the corner, apparently. It's like June-ish. But Sony will have their press conference Monday, June 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Microsoft now has finally shifted their schedule so they're not early in their day. They will be on Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I included this in here because, one, they sort of release these times like it was like a big news deal. This is sometimes the things with like video game media, where they're just releasing articles about just fucking stupid things. It's like few words, and it's like considered an article, which, I mean, that's not really... Now, I'm not a journalist or anything, but it doesn't sound like journalism to me, but, you know. But... It does. This will be the first E3 that Microsoft is the day before Sony, where it seemed like the past few years Microsoft has solid conferences, but the fact that it's early in the morning and also Sony goes that night, maybe now Microsoft breaking away, going the day before, it can have a longer timeshare with the fans instead of, them having a great press conference, and then Sony has a great press conference, and it's the same thing of, it's like the who goes on last, that's what people remember, what was good last, and that's what happens, unfortunately, with Microsoft, is that Sony, when they put together a solid press conference, which they have been, they get the mind share at the end of the day, because that's what people remember at the end of the day when they go to bed, because they're the last conference that they see before the E3 actual conference starts off.
Now, I mean, I kind of feel a certain way about this, but do you think that the Microsoft having their conference at 5 p.m. on Sunday is... Oh, I guess it is a weekend. So I was going to say, if it was like during the week, I feel like the 5 p.m. slot really wouldn't be that great. You know what I mean? But
no,
it is a weekend.
Probably not. But, I mean, who works anyway? And who pays attention when they're at work? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's not important.
Yeah,
the hell am I talking about?
Making money. Fuck that shit. Laugh at my joke, people! Moving on.
Jesus.
I'm getting into the lunatic phase when I'm getting tired. But Gary, I think it was like IGN or somewhere, I've been seeing it around, the Crash Insane trilogy. There was side-by-side comparisons, and I know you actually sent it to me. So I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on what you were seeing, how cool it is now that they're completely remastering these three games, and honestly, it looks rather cool.
Yeah, so basically I saw it on Twitter. I really wish I remember the website that I was looking at. Unfortunately, I don't. It might have been GameStop, actually. GameStop. It might have been GameSpot.
Always get them confused. God damn it.
I know.
They just fucking picked a name that were a little different instead of like two letters switched. Fuck!
I wonder how many people actually mistyped that into their internet browser and ended up on a different site. I don't know. Dumb.
I
This
don't
is a
know.
stupid question.
I have no idea what you just said because when I cursed, my monitor thing came up. So,
what?
It tells me, oh, your levels have been too high. Do you want to keep the monitor on? I'm like, shit, leave the monitor on. It still recorded you, but yeah, I have no idea what you just said, Gary. So can you repeat? Or, I mean, maybe you don't want to repeat it, but what are your thoughts on the Crash?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, basically, so they were showing off a level called Sewer or Later. Kind of funny. And basically, they were just showing the differences between the new and improved graphics brought to you by Vicarious Visions, the developer.
Brought to you by
Oh, God.
Not really.
I'm sorry. But yeah, they're just showing you the differences. They were showing you like some of the lighting and also like the water effects that you obviously wouldn't have seen back in like 1997, somewhere around there.
Wait, can we take a pause? Can we take a pause?
Sure.
Can we take a pause real quick?
Sure.
Everybody, did you just hear the Jersey accent come out, Gary? Did you just hear that? I heard that for sure. Please tweet us at 2JerseyKids and let us know what word Gary just jerseyed the shit out of. Yes, that word, Gary.
I could be saying wooder, which is what people in Philly say. Damn it. Anyway.
Water.
WUDR. Wooder. Anyway. So I thought the game looked great. You know, I was watching.
It does.
I mean, it just. I mean, I haven't had hands-on experience with the game yet, so like I can't say whether or not the gameplay is great. Although I assume it is, because I don't think they're tweaking the gameplay that much. Honestly, they're just kind of reskinning the game, making it look better. I think it's pretty awesome so far. So
you saying reskinning the game makes it sound like what they're doing is not kind of. It seems like it's just like, oh, we're just copy and paste and just change some certain things. It's not like an actual. This is a legitimate like remaster from the ground up, where it's like.
Oh yeah, I mean they are overhauling.
Yeah, it's not HDified that a lot of quote unquote remasters have been.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely overhauling it, but what I'm saying is that the gameplay I don't think is going to change too much. A lot of the same mechanics and the moves that were in the original game are going to be in this game as well. From that standpoint, I think this game is going to be pretty awesome. I think it's going to make a lot of people happy, including myself, when I pick it up in, I think, June. So I'm looking forward to playing it. It's going to be like a nostalgic trip down memory lane.
Are you excited to play it? Because in Uncharted 4, they had a sequence with Crash where it came out of nowhere.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I love
that. Was
that
hilarious. That was amazing.
It was awesome.
No, but I mean, this was probably one of the first PlayStation games I ever owned. Yeah. So it's kind of like, got that place in my heart, but it's also a great game in itself. So
it was Sony's old mascot for a long time.
Yep.
Good old Naughty Dog.
And I've never beaten this game.
Never. Yeah, Crash 1 was difficult to beat.
Yeah.
It was basically.
And I didn't have a memory card back in the day.
Oh my god. So you had to leave it on if you wanted to continue.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was.
I don't remember. Did Crash have passwords? I don't think they did. I think you had to actually save because, that's when memory cards were finally a thing. But, excuse me, sorry. Moving on. I didn't hit the mute button in time. Moving on, over at Kotaku, I found this fascinating. 17 NBA teams sign on to appear in NBA 2K Esports League. Matty Myers over at Kotaku writes, today, the NBA and Take-Two Interactive announced the 17 NBA teams that have agreed to participate in the inaugural NBA 2K League. The NBA teams that will let their virtual logos and jerseys appear in the esports leagues are the Boston Celtics, Cleveland Cavaliers, Dallas Mavericks, Detroit Pistons, Golden State Warriors, Indiana Pacers, Memphis Grizzlies, Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks, New York Knicks, Orlando Magic, the good old 76ers, Portland Trail Blazers, Sacramento Kings, Toronto Raptors, Utah Jazz, and Washington Wizards. According to the Post, the league will draft teams of 5 players to compete in a 5-month-long season, which will mirror the NBA with a regular season, bracketed playoffs, and a final championship map to wrap it up. Players will create their own avatars for competition, so no one will be using avatars of a recognizable basketball stars that would appear in NBA 2K, like LeBron James or Kyrie Irving. The NBA is the first pro sports league to co-own an esports organization in the United States. In Europe, several soccer leagues have signed on to participate in the FIFA Esports League. Earlier this year, ESPN partnered with EA for broadcasting rights of the FIFA matches, but that's neither here nor there. It's actually kind of cool thinking about this type of league that's going to be opening up for NBA 2K. I think it's kind of cool that they're drafting certain players. I've never seen a competitive esports or basketball game, but all I know is go Sixers. That's all I know.
I agree, and I think it's just it'd be kind of. I think it's kind of sick because, like, I know you and I have played like club and NHL games and stuff like that. And
yeah.
That's fun in itself, but like to be able to play for like the 76ers, like even if it's the esports version of the team, I think it's really cool. And the fact that it's also like a 5-month season, it isn't just like a week-long tournament. You're playing for 5 months. You're playing like a legit schedule. You have playoffs, championship. I think that's an awesome thing.
Are they going to actually have like practice sessions where they come in and they're practicing like in like there's practice sessions in the game where they're just doing like an open practice court area instead of an actual court? I don't know how this will work. Are they going to have coaches as well? Not, right? Like, what's happening? What are they going to get paid? These are all questions I want answered.
I don't know, but this is kind of like a little small tidbit, but I think it's kind of cool too that they're getting to design their own players. So like they don't really like look similar to like the actual stars. You basically have yourself in the game. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I
would love touches.
If anybody's good enough to join this league and you are a Two Jersey Kids fan, please come on. I would love to talk to you about this. I would love to know your salary. I'm going to get real in deep into your personal life. I want to know your social security number, how much they're paying you, how much you're getting sponsored, your bank account number.
Real quick. I was like sitting here just kind of listening to what you're saying, and all of a sudden you get into that. I'm like, wait, what?
This is what I do, Gary. You zone out, and I take over. Moving on. Apparently, Darksiders 3 was leaked with screenshots. It actually has been officially announced, and the publisher THQ Nordic has confirmed a 2018 release. But apparently, I'm kind of just going to not really ramble. I'm not going to ramble, but I'll just give like tidbits of what's happening. You're going to be playing as Fury, which is one of the 4 horsemen in this universe. The first game you played as War. Second game you played as Death. Now you're playing as Fury, which looks like she has like a long whip. This game will be coming out for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I know a lot of people are excited about this because they enjoyed Darksiders 1 and 2 because it was kind of like a Zelda-like game where you go around collecting different items so you can move through the world. A lot of people, from what I'm hearing, like Darksiders 1 more, which leads me to the fact that I've been playing Darksiders 1 a little bit. I kind of want to get back more into it, but the thing that sort of threw me off is it felt... I don't know how to explain it. It felt more like an old game. Like I was coming back and it felt like a PS3 game. It felt like the old, like, sort of adventure, like, kind of, I don't want, like, mascot platformers, I guess you could say, where you're running around, you're, like, climbing up things, hacking and slashing away. It felt like an old God of War style game where it just didn't feel like a new modern style modern take on those games themselves, where the combat felt more fluid. Maybe I don't know I don't think it's the graphics. I just felt like the way that it played, it just felt, you know what I mean, Gary? It felt like off. It felt like it was the old way of playing, an older style of games, I guess you could say. Kind
of like an old gaming engine, but given kind of like a new coat of paint, that sort of thing. Like it feels like slightly awkward. Yeah. Yeah.
It just doesn't feel completely great, which I'm sure this game will feel great because now it's like a modern engine that they're using, and I mean they build on what they've been doing. I don't know the story at all, but it seems kind of cool that they're each game is actually following a different horseman, the siblings that they are. I think the next one will be it's Death, War, Fury, and Strife. If anyone was curious. But I'm going to move on to the next article over at Kotaku. It's by Lee Yancey. And, of course, it's about EVE Online because me and Gary find this fucking game so fascinating with the community. But I'm going to sum through where they talk about how the community itself, or not the community, but the people that created EVE, I think it's CCP, where they kind of encourage scamming on a certain level, where they encourage people to scam other, like, newer players, not out of, like, their own personal money, but out of just, like, scamming and taking their items and the money in the game, not, like, you know, scamming them in real life, in EVE Live. But I just wanted to read 2 stories about one being when a scam goes right, so you know when it works, and when the scam goes wrong. And it also sheds light on the interesting community that is EVE. And the fact that if anybody out there is a Two Jersey Kids fan that plays EVE and has like these quote-unquote war stories of EVE, I would love to have you on and talk about it for like 10, 15 minutes. You could just explain what happens, and I just stand with my jaw drop. But this is when a scam goes right. Lee Yancey over Kotaku writes, recently members inside the Goon Swarm Federation pulled off a very high-value corporation recruitment scam. This particular type of scam usually involves multiple con men targeting either a high-value single player, Gary's already laughing, or a small group of players. The would-be hustler stalks recruitment channels, watching for players who are looking for a new group to join to play the game with. Once they zero in on a potential target, the game begins. The scammer begins chatting with the mark, talking up the corporation he belongs to, and trying to convince the target that they should join. This quote-unquote recruitment process will go well for a while until the recruiter hits a snag. Some made-up problem that throws a wrench in the process. Oh, your name came up on an old blacklist, they'll say. Or there's a member of the leadership who doesn't trust something about the new recruits. We can waive this with a small deposit, and the recruiter says, this process of blockers and deposits lasts until the mark wises up and runs out of assets. In the case of recent recruitment scams, securing assets for profit was not actually the goal. Instead, the hustlers wanted to destroy the victims' 2 supercarrier-class ships, each valued at somewhere around 30 billion ISK, or roughly $500. The victims were led to believe that they could safely jump their supercarriers into what would become their new home, and then they would be invited to join the corporation and live as allies. But when the vessels came out of the wharf on top of the beacon they were told to jump to, what they found instead were a group of Dreadnought-class siege vehicles specifically set to destroy other capital ships as quickly as possible. The victims were destroyed before they could react, much to the enjoyment of the con artists. Oh my god. This game.
So I just want to say something about EVE Online. This game isn't really a game, I would say. I think it's like an alternative life that you just live. You kind of just turn on your computer. Exactly. You're living a different life in a different area, and you can just do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, you can be like a pirate. You can be anything. I just know one of my friends used to play EVE Online, and he would just go mine things, come back, sell them, go mine things, come back, sell them. That's all he did. He did.
I guess it was kind of like RuneScape in a way, but like not as. I feel like this game, however, is like really elaborate in like the scams that people create, like
and the scale of the game itself.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life, and we've covered a few of these stories, and each time I'm more surprised by what people are capable of and what they're able to craft in a video game. It's amazing. That's
why I would love to have people come on and we do like a small like Two Jersey Kids segment where we call it like EVE Online stories or some shit like that, and just have like individual people telling like experiences that they had with the game itself. And man, I would love that because I just like listening to it because this community is fucking amazing. Not gonna lie. So now we're gonna go into when a scam goes wrong. You excited, Gary, for this one?
I am absolutely excited.
Alongside the recruitment scam, another very common high-value scam is the corporation theft. Insidious characters join a corporation, Eve's version of the guild, if you wanted to know, with the sole intent of worming their way through the ranks until they are trusted with a large amount of currency or assets belonging to the corporation. Once they have access to access necessary and a plan to extract the assets, the thief takes everything that is not nailed to the hangar deck and leaves the corporation, hopefully disappearing into the emptiness of space relatively free of consequence. Just in the last week, a player attempted this type of scam against the Goon Swarm Federation's main corporation, Goonwaff. These names, man. After being a member in good standing of the corporation for exactly 1 year. Now let that sink in. He did this for 1 year. The player took advantage of a program designed to help new players more easily join in major fleet battles. The program provides these new players with an unlimited amount of cheap but effective spaceships, ensuring that anyone new to the game is able to fly and fight for free. The mentor turned thief emptied the corporation's stockpile into his own personal hangar and then immediately left to join a competing alliance. To facilitate the distribution of these ships, veteran players are inducted into a mentor program and given access to a hangar with hundreds of pre-built ships. Here's where the scammer miscalculated. One thing that runs even deeper in the Eve's culture than scamming is the general love and appreciation for new players. This is not as altruistic an emotion as it might seem. Every player that joins and stays with the game is another potential victim, and one can never have too many victims. The leadership of the competing alliance, Pandemic Horde, were contacted about the theft, and after a brief explanation of what was stolen and how the thief was quickly removed from his new home, word on the street is that... Oh, word on the street. Oh, man. Word on the street is that the scammer is now blackballed by both alliances, forbidden from ever joining either one of them for the rest of his EVE career. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man, I love reading these stories. It makes me happy.
I love it. The fact that it took 1 year for this guy, like he went along with this thing for that long. I mean, he gained trust in a video game with people for 1 year. Then scam them.
I picture these stories like This American Lifestyle telling of these stories. You know, that podcast, This American Life, where it's dramatic. They talk over, maybe Radiolab. People out there know. Where it's all dramatic, like sometimes they interlude music. I picture that with this game, like deep voices talking about, I was in the Goon Squad for 1 year.
You could absolutely have a podcast just based on these stories. Absolutely.
I'm sure there probably is podcasts out there, but I've just never heard of them. I really wish. Yeah. I want people to come on here and tell me about their stories. I want it. You can come on anytime. I'll sit here and listen. I'll shut my mouth. This is the only time I really shut my mouth for anything, so be my guest.
Yeah. And maybe one day we'll actually get into this game. I don't know. I feel like I would get steamrolled.
For sure. God. For sure. We're just victims, according to this article, Gary. We're gonna get
very true.
Gonna get scammed out of $500 worth of ship parts. Oh man, doctor, I'm getting tired, but I can do it.
Hang in there.
I can do it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe apparently beat YouPorn in the race for traffic. Casey Murdoch over Mashable writes, when a new Switch game comes out, you've got to drop everything and play it. Apparently, that even means dropping your porn habit. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was released for the Switch on April 28th, and in the days following its appearance, YouPorn saw a significant drop in traffic among users they identified as gamers. How do they identify them as gamers? Are they watching anime porn or something? How do you identify that?
Dude, I don't know, man. I think people it's either that or people are fucking like really they create accounts and really go ham on their fucking profile. Like, I am a gamer, and I don't know.
I've never been to a porn site where they take a survey of the people that are playing it or watching it.
And who would even answer the survey? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's more likely just to get a virus.
Yeah, for real.
Oh no! Fuck! I hate these websites. Oh my goodness! There's another article about the Nintendo Switch cut deep into the porn traffic. It's one of those websites where you just click anywhere and then it takes you to another random article. So you know what? You fucked me, Mashable. You fucked me hard. Like what happened?
If it makes me feel any better, I can continue this article because I still have it up here.
Can you please?
Yeah.
Please, thanks.
So it continues, but don't worry. Folks eventually made their way back to seeking out a more adult form of entertainment, and when they did, their searches were interesting. According to YouPorn, as the game's worldwide release began on Thursday, they saw a 41% dip among traffic from users identified as gamers. Again, we don't know how that happened. By Friday, when the game was out everywhere, gamer traffic was down by a whopping 52%. By the end of the weekend, it was only down 30%. This is substantially higher than the decline seen in early March when the Switch itself debuted alongside Zelda Breath of the Wild. Traffic from gamers was only down 17% at its lowest point that weekend. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch is already the fastest selling of all the Mario Karts, so perhaps it's not that surprising that so many people were so absorbed. Interestingly, when they did finally return to seeking out porn, they still had Mario on the brain. Nintendo-related searches soared 47% following the game's release. Men were 213% more likely to look for it than women, and it was also most popular among people in the 18 to 24-year-old range. You good, dude? Oh, my Lord. So, what exactly were people looking for? No, God damn it. So, what exactly were people looking for? Nothing too mind-blowingly creative, really. Rosalina nude pics was high on the list, as were Princess Peach cartoon, Princess Peach and Daisy, and Bowser and Peach. Of course, Mario and Luigi are in the mix, and the classic Zelda cosplay. It's truly the best of both worlds. After all, why pick between porn and Mario Kart when you can have them both? So, ladies and gentlemen, either you, I don't know, play video games and don't watch porn, or you can just, I don't know, have the best of both worlds and look up video game characters on your favorite porn sites. So, it's a great world we live in. Variety. Choice. We have it all.
Oh, my God. I just thought that was so funny. Now that
I can tell. I would never would have guessed.
That explains how they know they're gamers, because they start searching Nintendo YouPorn.
Actually, yeah, you're right. I guess the bizarre searches are what gives it away.
Oh my god. Oh man. Oh, I love doing this. Please support us so we can keep doing it. Moving on, I can do this article. This continues with the horrible Mario Kart 8 Deluxe thing. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is Nintendo's first UK topper in 6 years, according to Tom Phillips. It starts off the list over UK games top. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Then you have Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. Shocker, you have GTA 5 again, because GTA 5 is
invincible.
It's never ending. Little Nightmares, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Lego World, Ghost Recon Wildlands, COD Infinite Warfare. Number 9 is FIFA 17, and the good old Horizon Zero Dawn rounds it out. Number 10, Horizon, still in the charts. It's pretty good. Coming out a few days before Zelda. So, yeah. Oh, man, I gotta recuperate after that laughing fit that I had. Jesus.
You thought you were tired before. Well.
Oh, my God. Oh, my good. Moving on, apparently there is a Zelda DLC that is going to be released. And according to Samit Shakar, it sounds really neat. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's first add-on will throw rooms of full baddies at Link, make enemies a lot tougher, and track his footsteps across Hyrule, publisher Nintendo announced today. Known as the Master Trials, the downloadable content pack is the first of 2 planned add-ons for Breath of the Wild. It is scheduled to be released this summer, while the second DLC is slated to arrive this holiday season. They are only available to buy together in Breath of the Wild's $19.99 expansion pass. The Master Trials will bring a hard mode to the game. Hard mode will mostly increase the difficulties of enemies Link's face. Their ranks will be raised, and players might even encounter higher ranking enemies they wouldn't find, end quote, in the current game. Nintendo said in a news release, in addition... Oh, man, I can't speak, apparently. In addition, Link will have a tougher time sneaking up on foes because they'll be able to detect him more easily, and during battle, they'll slowly regenerate health. Nintendo will give Link a bit of a hand in hard mode. You'll see balloons holding planks in the sky over Hyrule. If you get up there, you can collect some new treasures, blah, 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 blah. Moving on, another option is Master Trials is Heroes... new option. Jesus, I can't fucking read right now. Another new option in the Master Trials is Heroes Path mode, which is Nintendo's referred to as, quote, a new feature for the in-game map, end quote. In its original announcement of the expansion packs, in this mode, Breath of the Wild tracks every step Link's take and marks it green on the map, so you can see where you go the last 200 hours, which is kind of cool. It will also, the third thing, it will introduce a challenge mode called Trial of the Sword, which was originally known as Cave of Trials Challenge. Link begins without any weapons or armor in a full room of enemies. If you can kill them all, you gain passage to the next area. In all, Trial of the Sword will offer approximately 45 rooms. The reward seems like it will be worth the effort. When you make it all the way through, quote, the true power of the Master Sword will awaken and always be in its glowing, powered-up state, end quote, says Nintendo. There are another few pieces, according to Nintendo, a travel medallion. There will be new No, I'm done. Gary, can you read the final 3? Do it.
The final 3 articles?
No, the final 3 things.
All right. I closed out the article. I thought you were continuing. I will absolutely read it.
Never mind. They're not important.
No,
They're not important.
Right,
Screw it.
If I may say something about the DLC. Okay, I'll talk about the DLC. I actually thought it was pretty cool. So, I mean, I haven't played Zelda. I don't have a personal experience. That's more of a Cat's territory, if you're listening. That's a shout-out.
Yay, Cat Terry. Woo! Meow!
Anyway. I thought it was just kind of cool. I mean, the one takeaway that I had personally from the article, I thought that the Trial of the Sword game mode sounds pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I just feel like it's something that'd be like really frustrating, but also really satisfying and also intense to complete, given the fact that you're obviously like working your way up through stages and you're facing really intense enemies. So that's just the one takeaway that I had personally, but I'm not sure if you feel any differently or have something else.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that they're adding that. It's kind of like a horde mode that they're adding for expansion pack, which for $19.99 getting 2 DLCs, that's pretty solid. Now here I'm gonna try not to sound like a Nintendo hater, But it's kind of weird that you're paying a season pass for this DLC where it just seems like you're getting additional items, I guess you could say. You're getting some horde mode challenges where it's like 45 different areas, which is kind of cool. But it seems like that's like the extra content you're getting, whereas the other additional things that they're adding, which are cool, but it seems like they're slider effects, I guess you could say, where you just turn on this one feature that they had during development, and now you can see where you last went 200 hours before. And let's add the hard mode slider into this game because, let's add, quote, that's more content. I mean, that just seems like it's just something that was already there, and they just are now flipping a switch and turning it on. I mean, that's what it seems like, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, hard mode, and especially what you're just saying with 200 hours of footsteps, that's kind of gimmicky, I guess. Hard mode, I mean, some people are really into that, like the additional challenge, but I don't know if it really adds anything to the game besides just more enemies and tougher enemies. So,
agreed.
I feel you. I feel you, brother.
Ja feels.
Yeah, man.
Moving on.
Yeah, man.
According to Matt Ford over at Nintendo Life, Super Mario Rabbids Crossover still in the works for Nintendo Switch. Remember before the Switch launched and there were rumors of Ubisoft releasing a Mario Rabbids crossover for the system? Well, it surfaced again from known Nintendo leaker Emily Rogers, who has given more details on the supposed 2017 game. In her latest blog post, she responds to a reader question about the unexpected crossover, speaking about having 8 playable characters alongside each having their own weapons. The full blog post reads, quote, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, end quote, has 8 playable characters, including Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Yoshi, and they each have their own sci-fi weapons, laser guns, arm cannons, etc. But you don't control the characters, you control Torito, a small floating dish to guide them through the worlds. There's also co-op multiplayer. I also heard something that there will be 8 characters, where it's Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Yoshi, like it said in that post. But then they'll have rabbits, like the bunny rabbits from Rayman. They'll be dressed up as Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Yoshi. So those will be the 8 characters. It's kind of fascinating that Nintendo, it seems like, are leasing their properties out to Ubisoft, because I don't think Nintendo is actually making this game. I think it's more on, from what I've been hearing, it's been more on Ubisoft end, which maybe this is Nintendo trying to get third parties to come by luring them with their own licenses, knowing that their licenses sell. I mean, what do you think, Gary?
Definitely possible. I mean, I think, actually, this is just kind of like a random thought that I just had, but the whole we had, with Ubisoft, you were talking about them last episode, and the whole takeover of Ubisoft by, I think it was Vivendi.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has any impact on this. Did Vivendi maybe have a say and decide ultimately to maybe take on this project? It's a possibility. I don't know. It's just a random thought that I had.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not sure exactly what Vivendi plans on doing with Ubisoft when they do take over. I don't know what they want to accomplish. I don't know if they want to try to be more like Activision. I don't know if they're going to continue with the game space themselves, which would make sense because they're taking over Ubisoft. I don't know what their direction they want the company to go in, and maybe this is the direction. Maybe they'll stop it. Maybe they want to continue with it because, I mean, let's be honest, Nintendo is a huge license to get to be able to make a game with Nintendo licensed property like Mario, and it seems like Nintendo is doing that more often, where they're licensing because they know how valuable their content is or their characters. They're licensing it out to other places, other companies that are using it. Like, for example, the Nintendo theme park that's going to be built. They had to license out their, I think, their properties to be able to build that theme park itself. So, I'm sure if they do create a Mario Rabbids crossover, which is it's kind of weird that they're using Rabbids and not including Rayman himself, which is would be a cool crossover, Mario and Rayman. They're just using the bunny looking things. But it seems, I'm sure Nintendo is going to have a nice cut of whatever the profit is when this game does come out.
Now,
if it does.
On one hand, in a critical way, I guess to be critical of this sort of thing, by licensing out your products and your name, basically your property like this, is it possible that with Ubisoft making this I guess you could say like this spin-off or this collaboration. I can't think of the word I want to say, but
sure.
Yeah, crossover, correct. So if Ubisoft starts making this, like, will they be able to capture that same vibe that like you get from Nintendo games, like Super Mario games? Will you get that same vibe? Like, I feel like sometimes you run that risk, and it's just going to be interesting to see if they can maybe pull off that crossover. Yeah,
I'm not sure. Again, I'm not positive that Ubisoft completely is going to be developing this, but I think it's like
rumored. Yeah,
from what it sounds like, they will be. I can't say that Nintendo won't have a hand in it. I feel like Nintendo is not going to be if they're with their own licensed property, they're not going to be completely hands off. But they have licensed. I think I don't know what game it was, but way back when during NES, SNES, I think they did license off their properties before. I could be wrong though. But yeah, I remember listening to something where somebody was talking about it, where it's kind of strange that they're doing Ubisoft. And this is going to be like an RPG, kind of like Paper Mario RPG style game, with these 8 characters. It's kind of strange that they didn't, instead of partnering with Ubisoft, like with the Rabbids franchise, why didn't they partner with like Square and use some of Square's like Final Fantasy characters to partner with, kind of like Kingdom Hearts, or actually be a part of Kingdom Hearts, which would be fucking awesome. Having goofy Disney characters interacting with Nintendo characters. But then I also did hear that apparently internationally, Rabbids are still a pretty popular thing. Apparently, I think they have like 2 theme park ride based off of them. So, I mean, they have to be somewhat popular overseas for them to have that type of, I guess, ability to have a ride based off of them. I mean, that's what I've been hearing, is that they're somewhat popular over internationally still, somewhat. I'm just babbling now. Gary, save me.
Well, I mean, you could just continue onward.
I'm going to continue onward. Thanks, Gary. You're such a chummy pal.
Yeah, I'm just a great guy. Always steering you in the right direction.
Yeah, off a cliff. Let's be honest.
Probably.
You want to take over. You want to be in my seat, but you can't have it. Moving on. The last article of the week: PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds eventually coming to console. Brian Shea over at Game Informer writes, one of the biggest hits on Steam lately has been PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The intense 100-player online multiplayer survival arena has sold over 2 million copies, quite a feat for a title exclusive to PC and still in Steam's early access. However, that part about it being PC exclusive won't last forever. According to a recent interview, the game's creative director Brendan Green gave Business Insider, quote, "We have a team working already on looking to port it to at least Xbox One," end quote. Green said in the interview, quote, "We're looking at both consoles, of course, but we have no time frame for both," end quote. According to Business Insider, Green's team at Bluehole Studios is looking at PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds exiting early access within the next several months, meaning the console versions could be out in months following. Green tells Business Insider that since the game is built using Unreal Engine, porting it to consoles won't be a massive undertaking, and the team has enough resources that it can finish the PC version while looking into other platforms at the same time. You can get probably more info in the coming, weeks. Who knows when it'll finally leave early access, but I have to say, I am kind of excited if this does come to console, because we were promised H1Z1, like the King of the Kill coming to consoles, never happened. I honestly, seeing streamers play this game, I'm kind of envious, because I kind of want to hop in there and take part of this Battleground style game. Gary, you're shaking your head. You don't want to play this type of game?
Well, it depends. I like H1Z1 style a little bit more than I like this particular one. I just feel like the H1Z1 is a little more hectic, a little more fast-paced, whereas this one's a little more plodding. At least from, like...
That's fair.
I haven't seen as much streaming, or I've seen streamers play PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, but I haven't seen it as much as H1Z1. But I don't know. I just like the H1Z1, how it's kind of a little more fast-paced. I guess it depends on your play style, but that's just a vibe I get. But if they do actually... Yeah, I mean, if they do bring this game to consoles, I would be interested in it. I would probably buy it just to play. I think it's intense. I think it's, I kind of like the concept of it, fighting against other people, trying to be the last man standing. So it's something that I would probably be into. if it does come to console, which is up in the air. Let's be honest.
It's kind of funny that it would be funny if this comes out to console before H1Z1 does, when it was promised for PS4. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? Come on. That'd be funny. But that has been all the articles this week, and we are going to wrap it up because I am tired, if you couldn't tell. It's been a long day for me, Gary. I didn't sleep well last night. It was one of those nights where you just, like, sort of lay in bed and your mind's, like, racing.
I hate that.
And, like, you just see the hours counting down and you're thinking, shit, I'm only going to get 6 hours of sleep. Shit, I'm only going to get 5 hours of sleep. Shit, I'm only going to get 4 hours of sleep. Oh, my God, I got to work tomorrow. And I'm crabby at work, trying to drink coffee, and then playing softball. Now I'm fucking drained. So, oh, man. Gary, do you have anything to say for the kids before we go? Anything you're doing this weekend? Anything you want to just plug? Anything you want to talk about before we go?
Well, basically, I guess I'll announce it now to anybody that's listening. So we're going to be doing an interview with the Golden Cartridge, or more specifically, Ryan Donovan.
Yay!
And we're really excited about doing this. We featured a lot of his articles in the past on our podcast, and he's back now. He's been busy with a lot of his a lot of stuff going on in his personal life and his family. So it's going to be exciting to actually interview him and kind of get to know him a little bit better, know a little bit more about what he does with his website, and also maybe
how he got into it and all of that.
Exactly. So we're really excited to interview him, and I kind of just wanted to basically bring that up and let people know it's happening in the near future. I think next week we'll be talking to him.
Yeah, next week we'll be interviewing him, I believe, if we find a time for it. We'll also be interviewing somebody else on Friday. I don't know the exact name because I only know his Twitter handle. But apparently, according to his bio, he is a YouTube streamer, but also is into the professional gaming scene. He's also, according to his bio, I don't want to make any steps, but it is his bio. It seems like he's autistic. So, I will probably be sitting down with him sometime next week to talk to him about his experiences with professional gaming and what it's been like. And honestly, I was nervous for doing like interviews way back when, but I'm honestly kind of liking it now, like getting to know different people and doing it. It's been fun.
Yeah, you get different perspectives on things, which is cool.
You don't have two of the same jackasses talking all the time.
Exactly. People get tired of us, let's be honest. But yeah, that's basically all I had to say. Basically, to end it off, it's been great being here again. Mm-hmm. And, once again, our download numbers are awesome. We love all you guys out there, giving us a listen. If you haven't already, check out Adam's interview with Adam. Adam squared, as he was saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, I will see you guys on our Monday episode. I think we're getting back into the topics again, so we're going to have a topic, which will be decided upon. Yeah.
We have nothing set in stone yet on what we'll be talking about, but it will be a good one as always because me and Gary are fucking amazing. And speaking of what would be fucking amazing is if you guys went to iTunes and you went and rated us and you gave us a 5-star and you said why you liked us. If you don't want to say why you liked us, that's fine. Give us the 5 stars anyway. That'd be great.
Say why you hate us, damn it.
But yeah, it would help us out a lot. So if you're a continued listener or a new listener and you really want to support the podcast because you think we do great stuff, or if you think we do mediocre stuff and you still want to support us, it would be great. I know we do this sort of for fun, but it'd be kind of cool to build on it and become like an actual thing, which it seems like we sort of have been randomly growing out of nowhere, which is kind of cool. I guess interacting on Twitter does kind of work sometimes. But yeah, we really appreciate all of you so much. So, yeah, I think we're close to 400 downloads in 4 days, which is kind of rad. Which, if we continue this pace, maybe we'll get close to 3,000, which would be awesome. Another milestone. I want to hit this month. I want to hit 1,000 downloads for one fucking episode. I want to do it, damn it. And I don't know what it will be, but I want to do it. It needs to be clickbaity and everything.
Just promote it every minute.
Every minute. Every minute. I'm sure we could boost our downloads by just mass sending it out every second. And then
getting muted in the process
we'll get banned by Twitter, fucking lose our podcast, iTunes shuns us, it'll be worth it. Not really. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this all up. But yeah, remember, we release episodes every Tuesday and Friday. We are a video game podcast. And, we have fun doing it. We're not really insiders. We just give you our opinions. And sometimes we come and do a podcast when we're somewhat tired and a little loopy, and we laugh hysterically at random things. So I apologize for that. Or not. I don't know if I apologize. Who knows? I'm just rambling now. I need to say bye. All right, y'all. Gary, say bye.
Adios.
All right, everyone. Have a good one. Peace. Keep playing those games. Bye!